So now what we're going to do is move to the root. I'm going to put down a new layer for that. Move into our wax here. And let's start to rough in this overall shape. So we had previously built this kind of rough structure of this root here, and the idea is that it's going to form into somewhat of a kind of a loose hand-like structure. And we'll bring that in this way here. So we'll build this up and smooth that back a bit here. Just kind of define that a little bit. And I'm going to go with a more of a harder edge fall off there. See if we can define that a little bit. Let's maybe undo that structure and bring this in around. Kind of like a finger-like root kind of structure that's going to come up. We'll just kind of rough in these overall kind of protruding fingers that are coming over the top of his head here. These kind of root structures that are pulling on the rock to help form or distort the overall look of his head. We'll bring these up and we'll give them kind of a knuckle-like look here in a moment, but for now we'll just rough it in to be some sort of crude hand-like structure. And we can start to bring in a root around here as if it's pulling on this cheekbone here. There we go. Again, we're just working with some structure here for now. And we can start to refine it once we get moving on the overall shape that we want to work with. The base shape is our most important thing here to get that going. And we start building this up. Just kind of work in a bit of a structure of this, you know, somewhat of a, we don't want to take away from the fact that it is roots from the tree, but kind of something that looks, you know, a little bit sinister the way he's comprised of these things. And then we'll start to build up a little bit of this root here. Give a little more definition in the, almost as if it's kind of a semi-forearm type of thing. Start to build up some of these nodules as if they operate as, you know, pseudo knuckles or something like that. Again, the bulge brush would work fine for this. I'm just working in kind of that knob or kind of knots in the roots here. There we go. And then if we use the inverse again, we can kind of push just a slight bit in there. I don't want to distort the skull too much in there or the head in there too much, but I do want to kind of push a little bit of the root material down to define a bit of a groove. Go with something a little more sharp for a fall off in there. And this is where we'll start to use that Sculpt vine tool to really bring in the overall kind of tendon or ligament-like feel of the this rooty hand kind of pulling on him here. I'm going to build up that cheek a bit. Build up this kind of bony structure of the cheek here. Make it look like this root-like structure has been pulling on this rock of his formation of his head for some time here. We have the rock kind of, you know, the root is kind of embedded in, the rock's kind of carved in a bit, so the rock is kind of surrounding it a little bit.